Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is Clayton. I'm very happy about the recent uptick in viewership to the channel, and it seems that a majority of my content is starting to get views now. Of course, I've said it before that I'm very happy about that. And as opposed to my more recent content that I've made, I wanted to speak about an issue that has come up recently that I think a lot of people need to hear about. This is something that some people have already spoken about with a certain defect in a series of DVDs that were released back in the early 2000s. Of course, these were the Warner Brothers cardboard slim cases, as you can see here. Of course, I'm going to show off some of my DVDs that don't work. This is Training Day. I believe this came out in like 2003. And if you can see here, a majority of these slim cardboard cases were from Warner Brothers. So for those of you that don't know, back in the early 2000s, Warner Brothers was sort of on a big stint with their home media releases, with the switch going from VHS tapes to DVDs. And I believe it's called the Format Wars, where a majority of different DVD and physical disc companies like HD, DVD, and Blu-ray were making physical copies of movies on disc, and they were trying to mass produce them as fast as they could. Of course, here is a copy of my movie, The Replacements. There's a section in the movie around the halfway point where the film just will not work at all. It won't work in a DVD player, a Blu-ray player. I've tried using it on a PC, and this is another cardboard. This is another cardboard Warner Brothers slim case. There it goes. This is another Warner Brothers slim case, cardboard slim case. And these copies in particular, just for whatever reason, they seem to have a disc rot. As you can see here as I open it up, everything looks fine on the surface. Especially here, I buffered this DVD a couple of times, and I cannot get I cannot get the actual movie to play past chapter 21 of the film. I've watched over half of this movie, and I've never been able to finish it because of this issue. I thought about buying another copy of it recently, but I decided not to because with it being in the cardboard slim case just like this, I figured it would probably be another defect. And so I didn't actually, I never finished The Replacements. And this is something that I kind of wanted to do at some point, but I just haven't gotten around to doing it because the copies of this movie, especially like this one, are probably rotting right now. And this is just one of the many examples I have, which I'm kind of surprised I had as many as I do. Now here's another one. National Lampoon's European Vacation. This movie came out in around 1985, but of course, these are the early 2000s DVD re-releases of these films. There's this film can't even get past the opening credits. That's how bad it is. But yet, if you look at the actual disc, especially here on the surface, you don't really see anything wrong with it. And of course, if I flip it over, you can see here that again, these are movies that I've taken good care of. I buffer them. I try to use like a microfiber cleaning cloth on them, and it just doesn't really, it doesn't get the job done. It can't physically play the movie for whatever reason. And yeah, European Vacation, I believe, was on a list of Warner Brothers movies that are notorious for having disc rot. This is one of them. And here's another movie that I know for a fact has two chapters that don't work. This is a Proof of Life. It's a Russell Crowe, Meg Ryan movie. I think it came out in like 2004. Of course, it's another Warner Brothers slim case, cardboard slim case. Again, this is another one where you can't physically see anything wrong with the disc, and especially when I flip it over. Again, you can't really make out anything. This is another one that's been buffered. I buy a lot of my DVDs used, but that really shouldn't be an issue. People buy used DVDs all the time, and they work just fine. But yeah, there's two whole chapters of this movie that don't work, and that's, I mean, it's really saved me some time of not having to waste my time of watching the movie and then finding that out. But that's another one that's giving me trouble. And then this last one here is surprisingly not a cardboard slim case from Warner Brothers. It's instead a standard plastic case. There you go. There's a Warner Brothers logo. It's the movie You Know My Name, starring Sam Elliott. I watched a majority of this movie, and at some point it just completely stopped. I was pretty close to the end of the film, and there's just chapters of this film that will not play. I believe this movie came out around 2002. Of course, it's a TNT original too, which you don't really see those anymore. If I can get it to focus. Yeah, TNT original. And I have another one that's actually, it actually works. It's the movie King of Texas, starring Patrick Stewart. And that one is a cardboard slim case from Warner Brothers. But for whatever reason, this one doesn't work. And moving on, surprisingly enough, I do have some that aren't from Warner Brothers that have this same issue. So more recently, I tried to watch Braveheart. This is a Blu-ray copy from the Sapphire series. I believe this came out around 2008. This is probably in the early days of Blu-ray, around the time the HD DVD came out, which HD DVDs have a really big problem with the disc rot. And I think it's a case with this one here. Again, there's another chapter or two in this one that just won't play either. You can play, I think, every other chapter except like two of them, and that's kind of important for your movie. I mean, there's a whole bunch of context that can be lost because you can't play the full movie. And something I did notice on this when I put it in my Blu-ray player the other day is that on the actual disc itself, if I can get it to focus, maybe I can get this on camera. Let's see here. Oh, there it goes. Right there, around the edge. Right here, around the edge, in the reflection, you can see little speckling on the actual disc itself. I believe that's the rot inside this disc, to where it's essentially just chewing it up from the inside, and that's what a majority of films like this is happening to them. These older releases on a disc like this, you can see that there. Of course, I have an extreme example of this, two of them that I'll show here at the end, which is definitely worth sticking around for. And I believe the special features disc inside here too has that same issue. Let's see here. I think you can kind of see it there. Yeah, I wouldn't really risk it. I believe that this Blu-ray copy is ruined. To be honest, it really doesn't have. That's the thing, though. These copies don't have scratches on them, but yet they won't play certain sections of the film, which just tells you that there's something wrong with it. But yeah, this is from the Sapphire series, Mel Gibson's Braveheart. Let's see here. Yeah, this is a Paramount release. You can see that there. Yeah, this is a Paramount release, and it's on Blu-ray. And of course, I have some more here that aren't from Warner Brothers. This is one that I've watched, I believe, twice now, and I just cannot get through the whole thing because it won't play a certain section. This is Michael Mann's Public Enemies. This came out in 2009. Stars Johnny Depp. This is a Universal release. And sadly, I cannot finish this movie because there's sections that don't work. And I've tried buffering this several times. And as you can see here, there's really Nothing wrong with it. Well, let's see here. Um, let's see if I can get that on camera. There we go. There's something. Now you see, I did notice this the other day, but it certainly seems like there's something going on there. But for whatever reason, I cannot get Public Enemies to work. I've tried watching this twice. I buffered it more than once. It just will not work. So that's kind of disappointing. And this next one is actually, I believe, a Hollywood Pictures release. There it is. Hollywood Pictures. That's the same company behind Encino Man and some older Hollywood movies. Before and after, with Meryl Streep, Liam Neeson, and Edward Furlong. Originally, I could only get through a little bit of the beginning of this film, and after trying to put it in the DVD player in the computer the other day, it just will not work. Again, this one here, you can see that there's nothing physically, doesn't appear to be anything physically wrong with it. And, of course, you can flip it over, and again, this is one I've buffered before. It doesn't really appear to have any issues with it, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't work. And now that I've showed you a majority of the movies in my collection that have disc rot, I wanted to show you two of the worst examples of that in my collection that I've found. So for those of you that have seen the other videos on my channel, I had released a series of videos. I'm not finished with them, but I did start with the series. It's called All the Movies I Watched, where I write down and speak about all the movies that I watched over the course of 1 year. As of last year, I watched this movie, Showtime, starring Robert De Niro and Eddie Murphy. And this is probably one of the absolute worst cases of disc rot that I have in my collection, or at least what I think is disc rot. Granted, this movie will play, and the next movie that I have in my collection, Contact, this will also play on a DVD player. But as far as I know, there's no like bad skipping or anything. And I wanted to show these two off because this is some of the absolute worst. I think this is early disc rot. I think eventually these DVDs will go bad, and they will eventually become so rotten that they become unusable. With Showtime, I did have some skipping issues on this, and I buffered it beforehand, I think. And I'm just going to show you this because this is some really interesting stuff here. So, just to build up some anticipation of what you're about to see, I'm going to do this off screen. So, here's the disc, and as you can see here, as I zoom in a little bit, it has sort of a moldy look to it. That's kind of the way I would describe this. It has a very moldy look to it, and that's all around the rim of this disc. But even as I flip it over, it has sort of that bronzy look to it that a lot of people describe disc rot having. But if I let it shine here in the light, you'll see here that even inside the inner part of the disc, where it actually physically is put onto the player, it has this very moldy, speckled look to it. I think this is a protective layer breaking down inside this disc. And like I'd said, I had managed to watch this entire movie. There was a little bit of skipping. And yeah, this is a really extreme case of this that I think is starting to go down. And just for those of you that don't know, this is a widescreen release of Showtime. And I'm going to show Contact, which I think is even worse. So I'm going to do this off screen. And I've yet to even see this movie yet, but I can tell you that it doesn't look very good from the outside. But here you go again. More of that speckled, moldy look to it. I mean, here, I'll let the light shine on it for a little bit. Especially here, you can see it around the rim. It just looks disgusting. It has this moldy, gross look to it, this speckled look to it. And especially here on the bottom, you can just see that it looks normal. But this is not a normal thing to see on the DVD. These are two of the worst cases of this that I've had. And I believe that these discs will go bad over time. And when that layer completely breaks down, all the information will be lost on the disc. And I'll wind up having to buy a new copy of it. And I just wanted to show this off to you for those of you that are interested in disc rot in DVDs. And so now that I've showed off those DVDs that have been problematic, I think that you might get a better understanding of just what to avoid next time you go DVD collecting. For me personally, I got into DVD collecting around, I believe, 2012. First, I had started collecting VHS tapes, and I started doing DVD collecting not long afterward, not too long before I had actually started high school. And yeah, DVD collecting is I'd say probably one of my bigger hobbies outside of working on the YouTube channel and talking about filmmaking and videography and just whatever. And yeah, I think this video might be helpful to some people that were curious about this issue with these defective DVDs. That frankly, it's just a shame that they don't work, properly. And with that being said, this is what I have to say about disc rot and Warner Brothers DVDs. My name is Clayton, bringing you new content whenever possible. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.